Now, the way the Israeli government and the IDF is going after Hamas is basically ethnically cleansing Palestinians from the Gaza Strip, bombing the crap out of residential buildings, okay, out of that Greek Orthodox church, out of the areas where all of these innocent Palestinian civilians are living in or fleeing from is not the right way to go. And look, that in the long term will not keep Israel safe, because what that policy of just bombing the crap out of that area and wiping out entire families does is it breeds more extremism. Okay. First of all, I think it's wrong. I don't think those civilians deserve this. Okay. The majority of the civilians living in the Gaza Strip weren't even born at the time that Hamas was voted in. Okay. Most of them, half of them are under the age of 18.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So the point that I'm trying to make is to bombing the crap out of the Gaza Strip, killing all of these innocent civilians from a remote location. I think that's wrong.
Anna, would
1.1 million Palestinians are being told to evacuate their homes. As they're being evacuated to the part of the Gaza Strip where they're going to be safe, that area gets bombed.
Yep.
Okay.
So let me ask you a very direct question. Do you think Israel wants to kill innocent civilians?
I do.
You think Israel genuinely wants to?
I do.
What evidence do you have of that?
The evidence is they are refusing to do special operations and instead are relying on bombing areas where they know civilians are at, and then they'll turn around and say, "Well, Hamas is using them as human shields."
So if you don't have kids, right?
If an armed man grabbed a family member of yours, do you have kids?
No, I don't.
Oh, do you have? Okay, your mother. You talked about your mother. If an armed gunman grabbed your mother, had a gun to her head, okay, and he is confronted by the authorities, by law enforcement, and law enforcement, they just decide, you know what? We're not going to negotiate. We're not going to do anything. We're just going to shoot the hell out of both of them. And then they come to you and say, well, your mother, sorry, was a human shield. Would you accept that argument?
That's not the question, though.
Would you accept that argument?
You're making up a random story that what my mother is held captive.
Hamas using Palestinians as human shields is not a justification to indiscriminately bomb the hell out of that region, knowing full well that the majority of people who are going to end up dying are not Hamas militants who are underground in the tunnels, okay? Okay, it's the innocent civilians who are going to lose their lives. And the flippant behavior that I see from the West in regard to all of those innocent people losing their lives disgusts me. Okay, seeing people having to vacate their homes, everything that they've known, being forced to leave the land that they have. That is exactly what happened to Armenians. That is exactly what happened during the genocide. And the fact that the United States is just willy-nilly providing cover for that behavior absolutely disgusts me. Israel has a right to defend itself. How it defends itself is where we should have that conversation. Sending special ops in to get Hamas, hell yeah, go get them. But the idea that all of these innocent kids should lose their lives as a result of this, I don't believe it. I will never support it. And in the long run, that is going to make Israeli civilians less safe, not more safe. It breeds more extremism. And by the way, it's dragging us into a broader war. Okay, you have the Arab world like ready to go. And you have Israel under the leadership of Netanyahu acting incredibly belligerent, doing airstrikes in freaking Lebanon. Okay, talking about going to war in Iran. We're going to bring in all of these Arab countries. You think the United States is going to stay out of that? Hell no. We're going to be dragged into more forever wars. I just think it's so destructive, so stupid. We're not thinking critically and strategically about how to help our ally Israel while also preventing the reproduction of more extremism.
Yeah,
if a government wiped out my entire family, I have nothing left to live for. And I'm real angry, okay? That is a dangerous combination. And that is exactly what is being bred right now as we speak, as entire families are getting wiped out, civilian families in the Gaza Strip. I totally get that, you know, the discourse in the United States has essentially dehumanize these people. But at the end of the day, they're innocent people in a terrible situation, and they don't deserve the absolute hell that they're dealing with right now, the death and destruction that they're dealing with right now. I want a peaceful two-state solution. This ain't the way to get it.
Yeah,
here's what we do. The United States taxpayer funds the Iron Dome that intercepts all of those rockets, okay? To pretend as though we're talking about two equal sides is ridiculous to me. It is an asymmetrical war. So I'm happy. I am so happy that the United States did that the United States helped fund the Iron Dome to help keep Israel safe. The point that I'm trying to make right now is that the current effort in basically bombing the crap out of the Gaza Strip, first of all, breaks a bunch of international laws pertaining to war. Okay, so there are war crimes taking place as we speak, and we're here in the United States pretending like we don't see it, even though every other country in the world sees it, even though the UN Security Council sees it. So aside from doing war crimes, we're also creating a future in which Israel isn't going to be safe. Do you get what I'm saying?
On the 6th, October 6th, 1,600 people died. I think a couple number. Now, in Palestine, it's over 6,000. Okay? How many of Hamas have been killed in that 6,000? Do you know? There's 44,000 in Palestine. How many of them were killed? Because mind you, the innocent lives are at 95%. How much Hamas? When's enough? I get it, Adam. Israel has to protect itself, and we have to support Israel protecting itself. It didn't protect itself that day. Nobody wants to talk about it. So now, how many lives is enough? Hamas killed, and God rest all their souls, 1,600 people that day, raped, killed, everything. So how many more civilians have to die in Palestine for it to be like, all right, we killed some Hamas, but if you think you're going to wipe out all of Hamas, That's not going to happen. So now what's the solution? Just flatten Palestine. Just get everybody, pack your shit and get out, because we're bombing everything, because that's all they're using as kids as shields. I'm pretty sure that they do, but Adam, it's not everywhere. The majority of the deaths are women and children and innocent people. It's not.
But go deeper, Vinny. Don't just Israel does what about roof knocks. You've got 10 minutes to get the fuck out.
Where are they going,
because
Adam? And then they're going to bomb where they're going.
So at what point does the Arab countries surrounding take accountability? How many people is Egypt taking in? How many people is Jordan taking in?
How many people is Lebanese taking in? Israel taking in? What are you talking about?
You want Israel to take in Gaza civilians? Do you know how many times when
but they won't do that, right?
sick?
Because they like to conflate Hamas and innocent Palestinian civilians.
Okay, so here's my question.
Because they're subhuman.
Okay, how about this? Answer this question. How many people is the West Bank or Gaza? How many Israelis are they taking in to show support? Zero in the history of their country.
Zero. Are you sure you want to talk about the West Bank right now?
Hundreds,
the West
if
Bank,
not thousands.
Where they are governed by the Palestinian Authority, which works with the Israeli government, right? They are not at all governed by Hamas. At the same time, Israeli government has no problem with the settlers raining terror on those people living in the West Bank, right? Netanyahu has no problem with building illegal settlements in the West Bank, okay? Evicting Palestinians from their legal homes in the West Bank. By the way, honestly answer this question, okay? You have Palestinians following the rules, they're governed by the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank, a situation that could lead to peaceful relations between Israelis and Palestinians.
Oh, really? All the peaceful relations that have never existed?
No.
So you're going on the premise that somehow in this magical world that Anna's living in, that peace is possible. Zero peace is possible.
Building illegal settlements in the West Bank, which again is not governed by Hamas, shows the bad faith of the current Israeli government.
Yeah, but it's not whether it's Yitzhak Rabin, whether it's Bibi Netanyahu, whether it's Ehud Barak. Good luck trying to have peace with Hamas.
I wish that you would just say it like it is, because I feel like you're not saying it like it is.
Tell me what I'm not saying.
I think Israel wants to rid that area of Palestinians, period. And their activity in the Gaza Strip right now makes it abundantly clear to me. Abundantly clear.
Listen, if there's anybody that understands...
Entire neighborhoods completely leveled, okay? By the way, you want to talk about bombing hospitals? You think that was the first time a hospital was bombed? They bomb hospitals all the time.
And ask yourself why.
That exact hospital was bombed just like a few days earlier.
Okay, this alleged hospital that was bombing, according to multiple reports, according to multiple retractions, was done by Islamic Jihad. But ask yourself this question: why would they be bombing hospitals? Why? Why? Because they want to see sick, innocent people die? No, because it continued to remind you that's where Hamas basically embeds themselves.
So you're saying it's worth bombing it if 2 Hamas guys are in a hospital? You saying it's cool to bomb the shit out of that thing?
Where are you getting 2 Hamas guys?
Hold on, no. Hold on.
If they're firing rockets and missiles from that hospital...
Hold on. There was no rockets shot from that hospital. What I'm saying is, how many Hamas people are just... Let's say they're in there. Let's say they're in there with guns. You're going to bomb the whole hospital and wipe everybody out, kids with cancer, to take out, let's say, 5 or 10 Hamas. That's where she's making a point. It's special forces, and let's not pretend like they don't have some amazing special forces in Israel, and we can support, because we help them as well, Adam. It's like, when is enough? That's what I know what you're saying.
So for us to wrap it up, and I